Okay, so we're gonna get the Arts, Culture, and Heritage Committee meeting underway. I've got 6:57 p.m. on Wednesday, May 8th. To start the meeting, we will do the land acknowledgement. We would like to begin by respectfully acknowledging that the town of Shelburne resides within the traditional territory and ancestral lands of the Anishinaabe, including the Ojibwe, Potawatomi, Chippewa, and the people of the Three Fires Confederacy. These traditional territories upon which we live, work, play, and learn are steeped in rich Indigenous history and traditions. And it's with this statement that we declare to honor and respect the past and present connection of Indigenous peoples with this land, its waterways, and its resources. So that brings us to the adoption of the agenda. Can we get a mover and a seconder for adoption of the agenda?
I can move that.
Okay, seconded by Lindsay. All in favor?
Okay. Yep.
That carries. Brings us to declaration of pecuniary interest. If anybody has any pecuniary interest for the agenda, let us know now, or if it comes up, certainly bring it up at the time. Seeing none, we'll move on. Excuse me. Brings us to the adoption of the minutes for the meeting that was held on April 3rd, 2024. Can we have a mover and a seconder for the adoption of those?
I'll move that.
Okay. Moved by Linda. And a seconder?
Bella can second it.
We'll give it to Lindsay.
I'm just trying to find it. I thought I had it. And I thought, I see the agenda package. Is it in there? Yes, it's in the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Okay, yes.
So we have a mover and a seconder, and all in favor.
Okay.
That carries. Okay. General information, discussion items. I'm not sure, Alice. Can you let me know what we're looking at here? Oh, you're on mute, Alice.
Looks like I put everything, when it carried forward, it put it all under new business as opposed to discussion. So either one is fine.
Okay, so then I guess we're on new business then. So we'll move to 6.1, which is the Arts, Culture, and Heritage Committee keychains. Okay, excuse me. So the keychains, I'll jump in on this one. Obviously, we had the wrong date on that. We sent it back to Len, who says that it's a 4-hour wait for him to sit there and babysit the machine. So it may be more beneficial for us to actually outsource this. Now, Lindsay, do you want to take over here? I think you found a company called 4imprint or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's let me just see if I can. Oh, you know what? I might have it under my
gallery. I have the email. If you need me to share any of the images, I have the email open.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If you want to do that, that could possibly help me a little bit too. So, it definitely is 4imprint Canada, and it looks like. I mean, when I was sort of looking at the images, right, or I was searching up a company. So this one was what I could kind of see as sort of the closest. I couldn't find anybody who does basically like the I don't know what that plastic is kind of called. Kyle, you probably know what it's called, but it's the basically the CNC, so the engraving into the plastic. There's not really anyone who kind of does that. There's rubber where they do like a silicone, and it's like, kind of like a 3D. There's metal, so there's like, and they're really nice, obviously. So they're like a metal, an engraved kind of metal with oh, what is that paint called that they use? Oh my gosh, was in my head and then it just disappeared. So it's colored, but it's a different kind of sort of baked in paint, right?
Anodization, I call it.
I don't. It's oh God. It's like when they do jewelry and stuff, and you've got those pretty colors, but they're not. They're just like a paint, like a baked in paint. and it's not coming to me right now for some stupid reason with my head today. But those are really expensive. So you're looking at anywhere from, I think what I found was about $5 a piece and up, like up to like $10 a piece.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, we can't afford that. So this was the only one that I could that I came across that, for one, was Canadian dollars, for two was sort of, made in Canada, so we're not going to have to pay crazy import fees or shipping charges. And it's mainly just like a thin plastic that is a little bit pliable, and it's more like a sublation sort of print that they put on top, as opposed to like an engraving. So this one, when I was looking, the original price was about 62 cents a piece, and they were on sale for like 57 cents a piece. And of course that did vary a little bit with regards to quantity, right? So obviously the more you purchase, the less your price is going to be. There was I think a one-time setup charge or fee, which just allows them to work the logo and sort of create that image. But it's full color, which is kind of cool as well. And if I'm right, I think that one-time setup fee was like $60, if I'm correct. It might have been as low as 40, but I really feel like it was $60.
I would lean. Yes, with it.
Yeah. So I don't remember the size though, unfortunately, and I don't think I took enough of a screen print, like a screenshot to show the size, unfortunately. Let me just see here. Oh yeah, okay, so I got the information here. So, well, not maybe the size, but I got the information for other stuff. So your price, the price includes a full color imprint on the front of the tag. Setup charge is $65, and it's ready to ship in about 7 business days. And shoot, it does have a spot that has materials and features, so I'd have to go in that and just let you know. I put it in for a quantity of 405, and that gave us a price of 86 cents each. So the total for 405 of them would be $348. So
that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad, right?
It's the rings as well, though, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it comes with like the actual ring itself, because it's already sort of made, right, with the little tag. So that would cut some of our costs down, where we had to purchase that from Amazon, and then one of us would have had to, or multiple, I guess, of us, whatever, would have to actually place the key tags on the little key rings, right? I did it last time it didn't take too long, and I just sat there watching TV and I did it. But when we ordered them for the street festival, right? And it's not like the rings are really expensive. We got like a whole bunch for like, I don't know, 12 or 13 bucks when we ordered them off of Amazon. But that was also a while ago, so that price could have gone up a bit. But it does save us that and the time to actually assemble them. So, I mean, because it's tricky and we don't really have maybe the possibility to do it through Lenigan, this, in my opinion, is probably going to be our best option. So just because everything else was, like I was finding, was just either from the States, so everything was in US, then we had to convert that into Canadian, and then it was like so expensive. Or even if it was sort of Canadian dollars, it like I said, a lot of them started at like anywhere between $3 and $5 a piece, up to almost 10. So at something that was still like under $1, I was like, okay, this is not bad.
So can I ask a question now, Lindsay? Do you know, can we do more than one color in that design, or does that make a difference?
I'm pretty sure, because it does say here, it says full color, like full color imprint. So once we do that setup, I think that setup charge is basically just kind of for that reason, right?
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a couple more colors.
If I can interject on that one.
Yeah.
It means by full color is that we can do literally, it's the rainbow of colors that you can use.
Right.
However, that does not mean multiple colors of different keychains.
Gotcha. Okay.
single design that will be full color that will be on every single keychain.
Gotcha.
Which is fine. Yeah.
But at the same time, because it is full color, if we want a different color background, we just give them artwork with a different color background.
True. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Like it looks like because of the image where it shows you the it's got the little square where it says view imprint area. Mm-hmm. So you're gonna have still, it looks like the little white on either side of the image, right? Like on the keychain itself. Because I don't think the imprint area takes up the entire.
It should. Basically, the way things are created is it's printed on paper stock and then they're laminated. So they will print them, close crop them, stick them in the laminator, and done. So
put them through. Okay, that would be cool.
Yeah, because it would look better that way.
I was worried they were going to maybe sort of only allow that square.
They usually have what they call a type safety, so that if you're going to go any type, it's going to stay within the margins because a printer shifts. If you go outside that,
yeah,
right. So, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, I'm sure too that we could probably it does say on here too that you can request like a free sample. Mm-hmm. So that's an option too, or at least if they want to give us a mock-up, right? If we can request like a free mock-up so that we can actually see, our image put onto what would look like the final product, that would, kind of help us out as well. And we could send that around email if we need to, maybe, and get a vote that way if we don't want to wait.
Free sample is a PR image. I've dealt with 4imprint before. They're a great company.
Right.
I've got a contact that I can certainly call up. Or
perfect.
Email anyway. So why don't you leave it with me? I'll send my contact an email and say, give us the details. Do we get full bleed, whatever else? If you'd like, I can certainly request that free sample, but the free sample is going to be what they mass produce as free samples.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gotcha.
Just so you understand what the expectations are.
Yeah. I hear you, right. Okay. It wouldn't include like our logo as the free sample. It would just be, this is what it looks like, and your logo would go here.
Yes. You got it.
Okay, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. So I would totally be okay with you sort of reaching out if you have kind of a contact there, and then because you've got the artwork, I think, as well, right, between you and Len. So that would be kind of easy for you to just be like, hey, here's our here's our artwork. What can you do for us? What does it actually include? Can we have multiple colors, or is it just a single color? And then and then we can kind of go from there.
Okay, so
we know it'll be printed pretty quickly. So
here's I was going to say, here's the question: do we want to save time and budget for the printing of these, and just leave it to the subcommittee to make the decision, the final yay or nay, and just pull the trigger, get it done?
Yeah.
Or do we want to come back to the full committee for a yay or nay to pull the trigger and get the budget?
I think the subcommittee can make a decision.
Okay. Yeah, Alice, is that kind of okay, or do we have to make a motion for that as well?
You would have to make a motion and just reiterate who the subcommittee is and the maximum dollar amount that the subcommittee can spend.
Right. So
perfect.
If we're all in agreement with that, Bella, what are your thoughts on that? Oh, you're on mute, Bella.
I'm in agreement.
Okay. Then Lindsay, what was it that you came up with as far as a 400 unit? Oh, you're on mute, Lindsay.
I turned my microphone off because I turned on my lights. I had to ask Google to turn on my lights. So I was like, I better mute myself. So I 405 at the time. Like I said, because there was a little bit of a sale going on, so there could be a little bit of a difference in that number now, but it made it 86 cents each, so it was $348.30 plus I would assume that $65 fee
will be on top of that. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, that includes taxes.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is before tax. I'm going to assume it doesn't say here when I was just choosing my quantity. So I'm going to assume it's probably before tax.
Okay, so I can't remember what you just said as far as the pricing goes. Does 450 cover that, including tax?
So it would be, let's just see here. So 348.30 plus 65 puts us at 413. And then if we times that by 13%, that adds another $53. So that'd be 467, I think. 467-ish.
Okay. Why don't we make a motion that up to an upset limit of $500?
Exactly what I was going to do. So I'll second that motion.
Yeah. I just added the extra 400 and it's 467.02.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you need anything from us, Alice, for that motion, or can we just sort of put it on the table and go with that?
So I've got Kyle moving it and Linda seconding it. Is that correct? Or do I have it
other way
backwards?
around, but that's okay. It doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
Perfect. And then do we need to state about the subcommittee who it is again in this motion, or
that'll be a separate
No, you could state it in this one again. You could do it all at once.
So Lindsay, you and I were subcommittee.
Yep.
We want a third in this one?
I don't care either way, to be honest. So if anyone else wants to jump in, more than welcome to.
It would be good to have one more decision on that.
All right, I'll put my name in.
Okay. So subcommittee to be set with Lindsay, myself, and Linda.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we get a all in favor on that one?
Agreed.
That one passes. Great. Okay. Moving on to the mural discussion. We already had a brief discussion on what happened this afternoon, but we'll just do a recap. So Alice, Jennifer, and I went over to the storage to take a look at the stored mural. We couldn't get it open, so we're going to have staff actually open the whole things up so we can see each of the panels. Sometime tomorrow, that should be available. I've asked Linda if you wouldn't mind heading over there if you've got time, take a look at it. Like I said, I think it's oil on plywood. It's definitely plywood. It could be acrylic. I'm not sure. But like your expertise to take a look at it, see what your thoughts are, especially because if they're not in too bad condition, and the one board that I saw, I didn't see much in the way of damage at all. So knock on wood, they all look much the same.
Did you say it's plywood and not metal?
It's plywood.
Really?
It is 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it was about 5 plywood. It's a big, thick board.
Does it always look like it was metal from a distance behind you? You're driving by on the highway.
Sure. Yeah, no, these are thick plywood boards, and it's painted directly on the plywood. So if you're able to, I know that your expertise is far more than mine as far as the paint goes. Put your eyes on it, see what you think. You put your opinion on what's necessary for restoration. And then if we can get away with just sealing these, like I was saying to staff, that could save us a bundle on cost because it doesn't look like there's any kind of sealant on it whatsoever as it stands.
Okay.
So
someone gonna just give me a quick call tomorrow and tell me when we can go over there?
That's what the plan is. Yeah, Alice should be call for that. And if you don't mind, if you're able to, then we'd like your opinion on that too.
They'll give me a break from all my other stuff.
There you go. Okay. Any other discussion on the murals?
No, I just I threw a question out to a group that I'm part of that says if you grew up in or around Shelburne, and I just asked if anyone had any possible pictures of the murals that used to be up on the side of the curling club. So just in case they send those to me sooner than we can pull out all the panels and get everything checked, then I'll send those off to either to Alice and she can send them to everybody, or I'll try and kind of include everyone and just send them off so that we all have an idea of what the murals actually used to look like on the side of the curling club. Because there was, like I said, I know of for sure there was at least 2, but there might have been 3. So
well, if we can take them out tomorrow, I can always take a picture of each one and then have them sent out to everybody.
Yeah, that would be awesome. If they can pull them all out tomorrow, then yeah, definitely. Please, if you can snap the photos, that would be great.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Any other discussion on those?
No.
Okay. Moving on then to 6.3. This is, what do we got? Oh, the mandate update. Alice, do you want me to hand this over to you for this one?
Sure. This was just to let the committee know that council approved the mandate as presented to them on March the 25th at the regular council meeting. So we did just link the video of that council meeting where they approved it, if anyone wanted to take a look at that. But we did want to make the committee aware that it is approved, and that is now your mandate.
Great. Okay, that moves us then on to 6.4, which is the Arts of Brews event. The only thing that I have to add in this one is to reiterate, I did reach out to Ben again this past week on another event that I was trying to pull him in on, but wanted to ask him again on how do we deal with vendors on this one. And what he was recommending is that if we do a 60-40 split, so the vendor takes 60%, we take 40, we don't charge them for the booth, that's going to generate a lot more interest for the brewers.
Definitely.
Personally, I kind of think that's probably a good way to go, especially for our first event, just to build interest. And as progress, we can certainly revisit that. But
yeah, and I think that I would hope anyways that would help us just recoup any sort of funds or fees that we have to pay in order, like if we're renting a tent, obviously, right, like a big white event tent, that can get kind of expensive, right? So if we can at least recoup some of that cost for the first event or the first year, that would be great. I mean, we can always approach council with a request to have some in-kind services like garbage cans and stuff of that nature, and then obviously closing down the street that we're thinking of potentially using. Other than that, we're looking at, I believe, security and or OPP, or police in general, because there usually has to be some form of security at an alcohol event. And then I think hopefully that would kind of be it. The only other thing I'm thinking is tables and chairs and stuff of that nature. So I don't know if that's something that we have to rent. Like this is, I'm kind of questions, I guess, for, I think you said, is it Dan? Dave, Dan, I don't know. Ben.
Well, I'll just let you know what I saw at the Orangeville event was, as far as tables and chairs, it was literally just a bunch of picnic tables. So if we can,
and we've got lots of those at the town. How many do we have? Do we know?
Oh, butt ton.
Yeah.
What?
A butt ton.
Yeah, I think there's
my official response. We have a butt ton of them.
Okay. There is a decent amount, so that would be part of our request as well for in-kind services. Then, right, would be to have picnic tables brought. What did the vendors use, like when you were there? Like, what did they serve from?
They brought their own tables. They set it up as a booth. So basically, we let the vendors know, bring your own table, and bring your own booth, essentially. Right. So if you want to have a shelf behind you with some of your wares, just play however you want. If you want to have your banner, you bring your own banner.
Perfect. Okay, because that's where I was.
Basically, leave it all on them, especially because we're not taking money directly from them. It's just sort of a shared contract in this one.
Right.
For me personally, I think that's the best way to go. That way, they can set up however they want it to look. They've got to be responsible for all of that and the storage and serving.
Okay.
Now,
yeah, and that makes sense, and then it helps us with not having to provide more sort of, things, I guess you could say, that would cost us money, right? So I think at that point, if we could recoup a little cost for the things that we do have to sort of provide, that would be very helpful. So that's great. Now, I guess we'd have to ask Ben if he does like an actual contract that the vendors would then sign. So just because there's going to be a splitting of money involved, I don't know if we want to even get into that or if they do, but it might be a good question.
It's going to have to be essentially what it is they get tickets. They come back to us with their tickets. Committee or whoever's organized it then go through and count all the tickets that the vendor has, or weighs the tickets, as he said. I don't know if I like that idea.
I like counting. Then it's 100%.
Well, exactly. It's more reliable. It's just more transparent.
Yeah.
The only question I have is, Alice, in regards to insurance.
Right.
You do this as the town event and have the town insurance cover this as the thing, or how does this work?
So I would say that it would probably most likely be like the Canada Day event where the town has insurance for the event, but the vendors also have to have insurance naming the town as an additional insured.
Which should not be a problem, and all of the vendors that are there must be SmartServe to be serving.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess I'm assuming at this point too, their insurance needs to be $5 million liability because it's alcohol based. So not 2, it has to be 5. Now, if we have food vendors there, see, this is where it's tricky because they're at an alcoholic event, but they're not serving alcohol. So I'm just wondering what their portion would be. Is it 2 million liability for them coming or 5 million? Because I don't know. Because they're not, if they're just food vendors, they're not serving alcohol, right? So I'm not sure, but it's an alcohol event, so maybe we just make it so that everybody's $5 million. I don't know. I wonder if that's a question maybe for the actual insurance company, just to see maybe what they say.
So I'll get you to get back to us on that one. And in regards to food vendors, I think I'd like to see food sponsors, because it'd be very, very difficult to have ticket sales costing the same to go up and have food the same as what you would be getting for an alcohol serve. I think I've already got a couple of people that I'm thinking Freddie and I'm thinking Phil from Soul Live would already be interested. The last event, Phil actually organized it, and he provided charcuterie boards. And it didn't cost anybody who's at the event to take the charcuterie board. He did that, provided that as a service. So if we approach them as this is a marketing opportunity for you, you're not getting money for it, but provide us like a charcuterie board or something to feed the people that are drinking their faces off, essentially.
Right.
What are our thoughts on that?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a possibility, right? It's just like you said, reaching out to the few that we think would maybe be interested in doing that, right? But I like that idea.
Yeah, we need to reach out to Chris and Duffy and see if maybe he'd be willing to provide sliders or something.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So, if you're talking about the charcuterie board, how many would you need to have? Because you have no idea how many people are going to actually go for that type of food.
Yeah, it's not multiple charcuterie board. What Phil brought out was a table-sized board that was all filled with sandwich meats and veggies and all that sort of stuff.
So you just need some paper plates or something.
Yeah, exactly. Or napkins or whatever.
Napkins, yeah. If it's finger food, even napkins, just napkins. Yeah. Okay, so that could work. I think they would likely still need to provide the insurance though. So
they would need to provide insurance for sure. We just need to figure out whether they have to be under the 5 million as well, or whether it's 2 million.
Or it can be 2 million. Yeah. So and then we have to engage public health at that point too, because it's food. So
yeah. So Lindsay, can you reach out to Chris by chance at the Duffy?
Yeah.
If he's interested, give him both options. Let him know that if he's interested in providing food for us, the food becomes a sponsorship thing. But if he wants to have a booth as well and serve, he's more than welcome to do both.
Right.
Both, either or, and both. So whatever he wants to participate.
Yep. No problem. I can send him like an email or something on our long drive tomorrow.
I will reach out to Phil. I already gave him a heads up that I was going to reach out to him on this event. He seemed very interested. So I'll send an email to him, and I'll send an email out to Freddie as well.
Okay.
Just see what kind of interest. Does anybody have a contact at Tipsy Fox, or is anybody willing to reach out to them?
I might have a contact, so I could at least ask her if she can give me sort of a contact to speak to somebody, because I don't want to use her as a middleman. Because that gets a little confusing and crazy and broken telephone. So I can ask her if she can provide me with like an email of someone that I could speak to that would basically have the power to say yes or no.
Perfect. Perfect. Alice?
Sorry, just quick clarification question for the notes. Kyle, who did you say you were reaching out to? I got Lindsay.
Phil, what is his last name? Let me just look that up real quick for a second. Hang on. Phil Dewar, Dewar, from Soulive, Soullyve. And I'll reach out to Freddie. What's his last name, Lindsay? I'm drawing a blank.
It's Cartier.
Cartier, thank you. I'll reach out to Freddie Cartier as well from Beyond the Gate.
Like the fine jewelry or the watch. I'm sure he would love me saying that.
I'm sure he would. Okay, any more discussion then for the Arts and Brews event?
I think that's it for right now, except I guess, do we want to start looking into the cost of renting one of those big white sort of tents, and where we would even rent one from? Because I have no idea.
Nor do I.
Where they would be, like one that big, because we're going to need a pretty big one.
Anybody have any ideas on that one?
Yeah, Absolute Catering, they have a big tent. I don't know if it's theirs or they rent it, but they would be able to tell you.
Okay, do you have a contact there?
On Highway 10. Huh?
Do you have a contact there that you might be able to reach out to see if we can
I can get the phone number. I can't remember it offhand.
Okay.
That would be perfect, just so we can have maybe an idea, right? If where we could source it from and how much it's going to cost us. And also, around that time is fair time, so we might need to book it now as well.
That's true.
Yeah, because I'm assuming they don't have 6 or 7 kicking around. They probably have 2 or 3.
No. So I don't know if they own their own or they rent it. I'm not really quite sure.
Exactly. Yeah,
They
exactly.
use it for weddings and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's what we need, is one that would sort of, I think, fit a wedding. It doesn't need to be a big wedding, but it needs to kind of fit a couple hundred people or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So
the only other thing
wedding
for this would be local talent, some kind of musician. I'm thinking somebody just easy listening, somebody with a guitar or a keyboard or something like that just plays something softly in the background.
Right.
Something fairly cheap, local, so that we can keep costs down, is what I'm thinking of.
I mean, there's always Sandy Heron, right?
Sandy's fantastic, actually.
Yeah.
She's not bad. Do you have her contact information, Lindsay?
I think I have her on Facebook.
Do you mind reaching out to her just to see if she might be interested?
Yeah,
because,
no problem.
I think she's the perfect vibe for what we're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's in today's society, it's really hard to ask people to do things for free. So maybe what I'll do is I'll reach out and I'll just sort of ask her what she would charge. And then we can open up a dialogue at that point, right? Because it's just, as much as we would love to try and get sponsorships and things like that,
honestly, I'm not a fan of having musicians play for free, personally.
Yeah, it's really hard nowadays to sort of ask these people to like just donate their talents, right? It's in today's society and financial situations. So I'll reach out to her and I'll just sort of ask her, like, what would you charge, and for how many hours or whatnot, how many sets, and then I'll bring that back to the committee.
Beautiful. Okay, so we're still looking at September 27th, was it? Just want to confirm.
Yeah, I think so.
I have September 21st on the
21st?
agenda.
21st, yes.
Okay. I'm like, I knew it was near the end of September, but I always forget.
7th is a Friday, so 21st, it makes more sense.
Right.
So let me put that in my calendar here. Bands and Brews, is that what we're calling this?
Well, then we'd have to have some bands.
Yeah, I think, no, what were we thinking of calling it?
Arts and Brews.
Yes, I think that was kind of more what we were thinking.
Okay, so along those lines, because we kind of keep forgetting to mention it then, Linda, Do you have any artists in mind who might want to like have some of their arts on display?
I can ask.
It might not be a bad, again, just adds to the atmosphere.
Yep.
Right. Would we have them out in the park there?
I would say we have it underneath the tent for sure, just in case of weather.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Do we have an idea of start and finish time of these?
Yeah, I don't think we've discussed that yet.
Well, there's no point having it in the morning, so how about from noon on or something?
I don't even know if we need to go noon. I mean, the event that I was at didn't start until like 6:30, and then it went
Oh,
to...
in the evening? Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking if we do this right, we do this as kind of an evening event type thing. Just something to do on a night out. Local.
Then you're gonna need flashlights for the art.
Well, depending on how many art pieces you have, we need the staff, Alice, have those clip-on lights that, because the way the tent is, those are metal structures that maybe we can clip the lights on those to shine down on the art pieces.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because that would be my only concern is, like you said, lighting as well into more of the evening, right?
Right, but
then we need
the whole thing is, I mean, if we're doing this as more of a brew tasting of whatever brewery type thing, you kind of want to have it as an evening event more so than an afternoon. You don't want people starting in the afternoon. By the time they get home at 6 o'clock, they're gonna be hammered.
Right.
And if there's a way to possibly, like, let's say you had, I don't know, 20 pieces of art, if there's a way to attach the pieces of art on the inside of the tent, that would make it a lot more interesting.
True.
So if somebody wanted to buy one, they would just speak to somebody.
Not a bad idea. It depends on how tall the tent is. I mean, we may be able to hang them from the structure, but we'd have to see the tent first. You don't want to have it as a head obstruction, obviously.
Well, I've been in the one that was at Absolute Catering, and it's pretty good because it was like it was a wedding, and it was way above my head, so there's lots of space.
Even if we're hanging artwork from it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. It's worth looking at. I mean, that's a great way to do it.
Okay.
You may want to talk to your artist friends as well. One of the things at this other event I was at was Phil. He auctioned off a night out for people. So it was a 4-person, so like a two date night where he came to somebody's house and prepared the meal at that house.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so if we've got some artwork that some of your art friends would like to auction off, it's a possibility that we could set something up for that too.
Yeah. I got a few I'd like to get rid of.
Okay. Anything else for the Arts and Brews event? Not seeing anything.
Yeah, I think that's all I can sort of think of right now.
Okay, it is piling up. We are having, I mean, we're getting down to crunch time, but at the same time, if we're not charging the vendors, I think we're going to have an easier time of getting people to participate. It'll come down soon to marketing, which we can do well after Canada Day. So I think we're in good shape.
Right.
So, okay, that moves us on to 6.5, the Back Lanes project. Let's see. Alice, can I hand this one off to you for background?
So the committee was going to see if they could get any more information about Mr. Rose. I don't know if anyone was able to find anything. The Rose book doesn't have information about Mr. Rose. So, I don't know if anybody at the committee reached out to the museum to see if they had anything. All the information that staff were able to find on the feed mill. I did not include that on here, but we do have some information about the feed mill with that. And then just the committee needs to make a decision on if they want to use Townsend name or not for one of the back lanes.
So what's the background on Townsend again?
Pardon me?
Excuse me, what's the background on the Townsend name again?
That was the presentation.
Yeah.
At the last meeting from
Karen.
Mm.
Yeah. So both him and his wife were instrumental in a lot of different aspects of Shelburne for multiple.
They had the business that it is in what is now the town hall's parking lot. They were instrumental in starting the Shelburne Museum, which is now become turned into Museum of Dufferin. A lot of their stuff is now at the Museum of Dufferin. They were involved in, was it the Rotary?
I know it was
so.
definitely
so.
Yeah, like it was definitely a service group for sure. I think the police services board as well, they mentioned. There might have been baseball in there.
Okay, well, to me, it sounds like they've been instrumental in an awful lot of the history of this town. So,
yeah.
Why don't we just put it forward just to the committee and just open discussion? How do we feel about naming one of the back lanes after them?
Yeah, definitely.
I'd like to move that we do that.
Yeah,
because I think that's fairly prominent.
Yeah, so I think we have to. I think we have to create a motion that sort of recommends that that's what we do, and then I think it goes to council. Correct, Alice?
So there's two steps still. One is correct. It does need to go to council for approval. And I wasn't certain if the committee wanted to wait until they had the other two names chosen as well and do all three at the same time. But when choosing a family name like Townsend, we do also need to get permission from the surviving family members. And I didn't want to reach out to the family members till I had gotten a motion from the committee approving the name. So if the committee chooses to pass a motion tonight approving that name, then the next step would be reaching out to the family and making sure the family provides approval. At the same time of the family providing approval, we can still do the research for Mr. Rose and Sawyer's or any others and just wait to take it to council until we have all three names decided.
Okay, so why don't I recommend that's exactly what we do. We'll make a motion tonight for the Townsend name to approve that so that staff can move forward with solidifying that one. That'll give us some more time to look into the Mr. Rose, the feed mill. Or is Mr. Rose part of the feed mill, or is that two separate things?
No, that would be separate. Yeah.
Okay, so that'll give us time to do some more research on Mr. Rose to get some more information on that. Sawyer feed mill, if I remember, Alice, you did send through an email with a bunch of information that staff found on that already. So should we put forward a motion on accepting the feed mill as potential name as well then, just to save time?
Do we want to invite them to maybe, I don't know if they technologically advanced to be able to be in on the meeting, just to, let them know, or I don't know how you want to handle that.
Well, we could do it via email the same way I'm going to do with the Townsends, or phone number, or I have to try to find contact info for them.
Okay, so
I was there.
Sorry, go ahead, Linda.
I was at the house to pick something up when they had just retired. And I know the granddaughter.
Okay, so why don't I put it on the floor just to see, open this discussion. Do we feel comfortable with naming one of the back lanes after the Sawyer feed mill as well?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I'll move that.
Okay. I'll second it. Okay, so then we might as well make that a single motion for the two of them. So let's make a motion for deciding on the Townsend name and the Sawyer feed mill. Go ahead, Alice.
Sorry, just a clarification for Sawyer feed mill. Is it going to be Sawyer feed mill lane, like all that? Is it going to be feed mill lane, or is it going to be Sawyer lane? I just want the clarification from the committee exactly what it's going to be.
Personally, I think we want to have the family name in there, but I'm going to open it up to the floor. Do we do Sawyer Feed Mill or do we do Sawyer Lane?
I would do Sawyer's
Sawyer.
Feed Mill because there was a feed mill there and it's fairly prominent.
Yeah,
Kind of what
I
thought, too.
agree.
Except the lane isn't exactly where the feed mill was.
So which lane is
Is
this
that-
going to be? The one whereabouts is that
It's
one
going to
located?
be in the general area, but it's not going to be exactly where the feed mill was.
And that's in my mind, that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially depending on what we put on the plaque. If we tell people where specifically on the plaque it was,
Mm-hmm.
let them know that no, it's not, wasn't here, but here's where it was.
So where's the lane that we're proposing to use? Which one is it? Do you know, Alice?
Let me see if I can pull it up here. Hang on.
I looked it up and
Yeah, it would be the one between Wellington and Joseph.
Okay, so
So
it's
like
a bit further south. Yeah,
yeah, but it's like
but that's
really
okay
right there. It's
because I'm
so
sure like horse and buggies
Look-
walked and drove up there to get to the feed mill.
yeah, exactly. Because the feed mill is literally Adeline and Wellington Street. So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
like probably like 100 feet away.
Yeah, not too far away. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm okay with personally. I'm okay with putting the Sawyer Feed Mill lane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think that's a good idea.
I think I would like to see it say like Sawyer's Feed Mill.
Okay.
And then whatever the technicalities, lane. Well, I guess it has to be lane, right? Because it's a lane.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Okay, so then Alice, we've got the motion to accept the Townsend name and to accept Sawyer's Feed Mill Lane as two of the lanes that we are going to be naming.
Okay.
So that was moved by Linda, seconded by myself. So if we can have all in favor,
Okay, okay.
that's carries.
Can I make a suggestion? Just thinking about it after the fact. For both those families, maybe you could have a presentation at council just to kind of
For the surviving members.
yeah.
I think that's a great idea. The only thing I worry about is if we haven't done it for anybody else, then that could be unless we invite everybody. You know what I mean? Like if we have anyone who's still like if there's any jelly families, if there's any I think there's a nurse something or other, right? That's named as well.
Yeah, I don't know if they're still alive either. Like I just know that both of these two couples are still here.
Right. Yeah, the other ones maybe don't seem to be too bad actually.
Yeah.
Just trying to. I don't know if Berwick is the last name of someone.
Alice, what are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
that's from way back.
Yeah. So. That like I said, that would be my only concern is if there's any other lanes of surviving family members who are still here in Shelburne, we would want to invite them as well.
Okay, I see Bella's hand up.
Forgive me, since I don't know these families, I just Googled them and I don't find anything negative about the impact. I only see positive reviews, but I'm trusting the rest of the committee members on the reputation of these names for the lanes. I hope that's okay.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, sorry, phone's going off.
The last thing I'd want is voting for something for someone I don't know, and then there's some historical problem. Like, you know how they brought down some statues at the university, they changed the Ryerson University name. I don't see anything like that.
Right.
And I think that's partially the reason why we're going with a family name as opposed to an individual name. So we're not saying so-and-so Townsend and so-and-so Townsend. It's the Townsend name as a whole. We're not saying so-and-so Sawyer. It's Sawyer as a whole, the feed mill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But also we have work to sort of vet that as well, right? Like we don't want that either as a, reputation within Shelburne.
Okay. Any other conversation on the Back Lanes project? Alice.
So just following back to the third name. Is someone going to reach out to the museum? Is someone going to try to find more information?
Yeah,
Or-
I think I was supposed to do that last time and I totally forgot. So I made a note in my notes.
I'm glad to see I'm not the only one.
to make sure I do that this time. So
It's
yeah,
okay,
I
Lindsay.
will.
I do it all the time too.
I
You're
was
not
like,
alone.
and then I'm like reading back over, like I was like, oh, I better start writing this stuff down. So I think I got everything that I was supposed to cover for the arts and brews. So I think I'm good. I might have to rewatch this video just to make sure.
Okay, if there's no other discussion, then we are now at the point of adjournment. So can I have a mover and a seconder to adjourn?
Sure.
Moved by Lindsay, seconded by
I'll
Linda.
second it. Yeah, I'll second it.
Can't see her, but I'm just gonna call it out.
That's okay.
Bella, we're just going to adjourn. So we're looking for all in favor. Yep, that
Yep.
carries. All right. Thanks, guys, so much.
All right, see you guys
All right.
later.